Morning. Morning, men, women, and young people. So, since we're talking about my Pulk here lately, okay, the one that I have is made by Chappelle. It's a JetSled, alright? So, you've seen Chappelle, you know, Snell's fishing hooks and all that. They make all that stuff. And you know, their JetSled, a lot of people haul stuff in the JetSled, like say they're gonna go duck hunting or whatnot. And there's the JetSled over there, right? So there's various ones, okay, various sizes. I don't remember which one this is. I'll get a measurement for you and put it down below, right? But what this video is about is I have two Pulks, okay? I got one that's completely set up, and then I got one that's just pieces, parts that needs to be set up. And I've kind of vacillated between two different types of setups for that one, so I never did mess with it yet. But I'll be doing that this summer. If I'm still around this summer, I'll be doing that as one of my projects, one of my little side projects. So what this is about is fitting this cover to the sled, because the cover comes with just an elastic, right? But as we all know, all of us who have pulled Pulks in our past and present, you get some pretty inclement weather, you know, blizzard or just super high winds, and you know, that's probably gonna go bye-bye, right, as you're pulling along, and the next thing you know, all your stuff's exposed, okay? So we gotta mitigate things like that. We gotta keep things like, we gotta control that situation. So one thing that we do to control the situation is we have, in this case, I've got 7 points on the Pulk where I have eye bolts, okay? And the 7th one is in the center in the rear. And that particular one is back here, okay? Now I'm at the top of my staircase. So the one in the back is right here in the center. Now I've got a piece of parachute cord on there already that's girth hitched to the eye bolt. There's a knot with a bite, okay? So, and then that bite is girth hitched around that eye bolt. And then I've got a Duramax, USA made, very compliant. So I got this. I like to use these Duramaxes because they hold strong. They don't slip easy. Okay, they're very hardcore cord locks. Okay. Now on the end here, instead of just an overhand, because this is going to be dragging behind, right? So I don't want an overhand to have a big loop here, okay, to catch on stuff. So what I do is I just go ahead, I got a cord, I got a overhand on each cord, and that way if I pull my cord lock down, I can let it out to those knots, and then I have that much to work with, okay? There's going to be a D-ring here. So one of these cords will go through the D-ring, and then once I put the cord through the D-ring, see, I'm going to have to undo these knots and take this off. So I'll put the cord through the D-ring, right? And then I will put the knots back on after I put the cord lock back on, of course. Put the cord lock back on, put the knots back on, and then this will always be attached to the Pulk. So even if I undo all of the other 6, a high gusted wind comes up, if something happens that gets away from me, it won't go anywhere because it will always be attached at that one point in the very back. Okay. Now, what I've got here is I have 1 inch, I believe that's 25 millimeter, very compliant coyote brown webbing. And I've got this marked off in 4-inch increments. Okay. Now that's enough to do up these D-rings, right? So this is a Duraflex D-ring. It's a heavy-duty coyote brown military grade D-ring, and that will be sewn first. So I'll sew that to where it's, you know, even here at the ends, right? The bitter ends will be evened up. And so this will be sewn down here, and then I'll slide that on my fabric wherever I need it to be, and then I will sew that in 2 or 3 different passes. Alright, and my sewing machine. And that is all there is to that. So I'm going to cut all of these, singe them with the lighter on each end, and then D-ring installed, sew that up, and then sew each one of these into the particular spot on the cover. And then in another video I will show you all of it assembled and how I attach the Pulk to each D-ring. I'm going to show you how to do it so that it's easy that you can do in inclement weather. Alright, so that's going to be in another video. So what else do I got here? I got the Breakfast of Champions, and I have a black gel pen, right, which I use to mark each of these marks. I have the lighter. Everybody uses a lighter, even if you don't smoke. Anybody who's an outdoors person has lighters. They have a lot of lighters. And then I've got this little 3-foot tape measure, which I use for small stuff. And then I use these heavy-duty industrial Milwaukee scissors. I've got probably 2 or 3 pairs of those. These are really good. You can really cut some stuff with them, and they don't dull out very easy. You know, and of course you could sharpen them. Alright, so I'm going to leave this video here with that. And so what you could do is if you're going to set yourself up a Pulk for next winter, you know, you can use this video as a reference. I'll keep it online, and you could use it as a reference to set up your own when you get all of your stuff together. So that's it for now for this one. I'm going to go ahead and sort this out, and we're going to also be doing a Pulk video where I will show you my setup from the other night. Basically it's what you see here, you know, and then, you know, the stuff that I took out with me in it. And then I'll have my polling kit on the front there, you know, that way you can check it all out. And I think I'm probably gonna put some fins on this Pulk, and if that works out well, then I will put fins on the other Pulk too. So anyway, you can always use one to experiment with, and then one, you know, if it works out great, then you can, you know, do your setup the same way on the second one. So these things are not that expensive. These are not going to break the bank like some of them. There are some, you know, quote unquote racing Pulks and all that stuff ones that you can strap a rucksack in, and then leave it attached to the rucksack, and then throw the whole thing on your back. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that. But this is just for your average person who needs something that's heavy duty. You could throw a deer in here and haul it out. No problem. Anyway, so these JetSleds, they are heavy duty. They're not as heavy duty as some stuff out there, but then they don't cost hundreds of dollars either, right? So we have to, sometimes we gotta like say, well, do I really need that? But I don't want anything that's gonna fall apart either. You want something that's gonna be nice and durable. Yeah. So another thing that you can do with these things, which I will share with you, is on the bottom there are ridges. The ridges are roughly, a couple of inches wide each. What you could do is if you, if you want to, you can go to your local box store and get you some aluminum strips, 2 inches wide or so. And just measure what you'll need from, say, an inch or so back, all the way. Take a fabric tape measure, and then bring it all the way up here within an inch or so of the end, and measure that, right? And then measure out at the box store something that's the same length or a little bit longer, right? So you can cut it down. And then what you could do is you could form fit that piece of aluminum. You can get like 3 of those, put, or 3 or 4 of those, and put those along the bottom, and then you can drag that on rock without any worry, and then it's up to you how you want to secure it. You could use a bit of heat with some clear double-sided tape. Okay, you could do that. You could attach it with some hot glue. You could use roofing glue. You could use that. You could use any number of adhesives to just go ahead and basically glue them on the bottom. And then that way you don't have to fill your Pulk full of holes, your JetSled full of holes. Just glue them on the bottom. They're not that critical. They're just there as armor, protection. So consider that also, because we like to do a little, redneck engineering to some of these items in order to just make them better for our use out in the field, right? So that's what we're doing. Time for some coffee. I'll see you later.